Adventure, excitement. A Jedi craves not these things, but I sure do, and that's one of the reasons I think Lego Star Wars: A Skywalker Saga is one of the coolest games I've played in the Lego Star Wars series. I actually think it is. It is the culmination of all of these Lego Star Wars games that they've been working on over the past, I don't even know how long it's been, 15 years or so. This is absolutely the best of the best, the cream of the crop. I don't even need to wait to the end to tell you that I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10 for sheer enjoyment across all levels of gameplay. We're going to be diving into a lot of what makes it magical for me. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the same things that make it magical for everyone else, but I have been thoroughly enjoying my time in this game, and am just really satisfied with it across the board. Now, it did take me a while to get into it because when the game came out, I was in the middle of moving across the country, and so I couldn't actually play it at the time. My brother bought it when it came out for him and his son, my nephew, and I know they've been playing it a lot over the last 6 months, slowly making their way through as they have time to play, and I had put it on the back burner because of the move and everything else. And then it popped up on Xbox Game Pass for December, and I'm like, well, hell, I have no excuse not to play the game now. So I got it for the Xbox, and I have since been playing it several hours each day. Now, I think what's the most interesting thing right away is the fact that if you go back and look at the other Star Wars games in the series, which are all fun in and of themselves in their own rights, this game, it just builds upon all those things, but it also has completely different levels. So even if you're intimately familiar with like the Phantom Menace or one of the other games that have come out in the Lego Star Wars series, this game has completely different level design. So it's a completely different game, even though some themes are the same. I also love the fact that this one actually has voiceovers and they use the Clone War cast. So we're hearing a lot of familiar voices play the characters like Obi-Wan and Anakin and so on and so forth, Amidala, things of that nature, which is really, really cool to see those fans from like the Clone Wars shows be able to come back in and be brought into the fold with this game as well. And it also moves away from some of the previous installments where you had the kind of like the Charlie Brown style of dialogue as they go through the game. So it's really cool to have a fully voiced cinematic experience as you play. Now, as far as the storyline goes, you're not going to get the sort of full Star Wars story from each film. What you're going to get is sort of a synopsis version. So we go through. I think the first. The Phantom Menace as an example, the Volume One. I mean, I didn't actually track it, but I feel like I took it through in like a few hours was all it took for me to kind of plow through. Now I'm not trying to focus on any of the side missions at this point in time. I'm not doing any of the free play. I'm literally just doing story mode right now, and I kind of feel like you're getting through maybe. I have no idea if this is the case, but I feel like it's about maybe 6 to 8 hours somewhere in there to get through a Phantom Menace. Might have been less than that. It was a really quick thing that was done across multiple sessions. There is a lot to do. I mean, a lot. Like, if you're going to go through and unlock all of the characters and all of the ships and all of the side quests and do a completionist version, I feel like there's probably hundreds of hours to be had across this game because it's massive. Like the levels are massive, the amount of side quests and puzzles you have to complete is quite massive, and the fact that you have to come back in free play and come back with different characters to be able to get past some of the puzzles means that you actually have to progress the storyline to certain points to be able to get those characters unlocked and bring them back. So there's quite a bit of replayability here in the level design. And it's kind of up to you if you just want to do like the storyline mode. I feel like across 9 different volumes, you're probably going to get, I don't know, I would estimate 50 to 60 hours of gameplay from the main storyline, which is a pretty healthy chunk. And then beyond that, like I said, I think there's hundreds of hours to be had here doing all of the side content and side quests. It's worth noting that it's not just a puzzle game like the previous installments, because this time around, you have conversations, you can influence those conversations. But more importantly, there's also space combat, which is really, really cool. And it is free form space flight. So when you get into these space encounters, you get to fly around as if you're playing the old TIE Fighter or X Wing games. It's really, Really, really well done. And you have a variety of ships that you can unlock. So, yeah, you're going to have some of the standard ships that you go through with when you're doing story mode, but there's also a lot of other stuff that you can unlock along the way. Now, as of this recording, I'm nowhere near done with finishing the overall Skywalker Saga, but I feel like I've played enough now that I've seen all of the various gameplay aspects that this game has available. And again, highly enjoyable across all aspects of the game, whether you're running around and exploring the planets, unlocking different characters, going through the storyline and seeing some of the iconic characters, or going through and doing the space combat. There's lots to see and do here. I think for me, one of the coolest aspects of it is the fact that we have a lot of that humor that we're used to seeing from the Lego Star Wars games. And it's, I think, even heightened in this case because we have fully voiced scenarios here. So when you're getting into these crazy cutscenes and you see characters doing silly things in the black background, it's really easy to get a chuckle out of these characters. And especially when you kind of, there's a sense of familiarity because we know these voice actors from the Clone Wars. So again, it's really easy for me to sink my teeth into this game, and I felt that it's a very good representation of what the Star Wars universe is, which is at its core a game or a film series, franchise that is intended or was intended primarily for children, but also has enough to it that adults are going to get as much enjoyment out of it as children are. And that's another aspect of this game is that it kind of, I really don't think it's difficult to play because they make it super easy. Like even if you die, you just respawn right there right away and you just pick up where you left off and you could just keep moving forward. So there's no harsh stealth penalties. It's just pick up and go. The mechanics are super simple. The fights are really easy. I haven't done any of the co-op play yet on this game. On the previous for some of the previous versions I've played with my nephew in the past. And I know that co-op is another experience that can make it a lot of fun, especially when it comes to solving puzzles and the like. But overall, like I said, this is just a great game. It gets a solid 10 out of 10 for me. And I kind of honestly have to sit here and go, how can they, I don't see how they can get better from here. I also don't know that they can go from here because when you do it this way and you're doing the Skywalker Saga, it's kind of like, well, you've already done all the individual games based on the films and you've already done these other packaged games. I kind of feel like the Skywalker Saga is the culmination of everything because we've finished. Now, obviously, they could go off and do a Star Wars, solo story, or they could do Rogue One, or who knows, the Clone Wars. I don't know, but I feel like as far as the film franchise goes, this is kind of like the cherry on top. So I don't know if they're going to do any other games beyond this point, and even if they didn't, I would consider this to be like the ultimate exploration of Star Wars in a Lego game because they've done everything in my mind perfectly in this game, from cheesy humor to fun little dialogue and cutscenes to just fast-paced gameplay. The puzzles can be quite challenging, some are quite easy. It's got really good space combat, voice acting and beyond. Like I said, 10 out of 10. Let me know your comments down below. Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Support if you can with a membership, super chat, super stickers, and beyond. Don't forget the Patreon page. May the force be with you, everybody. Let me know your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next video.